The day had arrived. The Galactic Council was convening once again, and this time it was Earth's turn to speak. Representatives from hundreds of alien species filled the Grand Hall, their voices echoing across the massive chamber. They were the most powerful beings in the galaxy, each species more advanced than the last. Earth, however, was just a small player in this vast, intergalactic game. The human representative, a young diplomat named Alex Carter, stood nervously at the podium. This was his moment to make Earth's voice heard. The Council had never taken humanity seriously. Earth's technological advancements were nothing compared to the other species present. The aliens often laughed at humans, calling them primitive and unworthy of a seat among the galaxy's elite. But Alex was determined to change that. He cleared his throat and began speaking, his voice calm but firm. "Honorable members of the Galactic Council," Alex started, "I stand before you today on behalf of Earth, a world that has fought hard to survive and grow. We may not have the advanced technology or the long history of your civilizations, but we have something far more valuable: creativity, determination, and an unbreakable will to fight." As he spoke, he could feel the eyes of the council members on him. Some looked bored, others confused, and a few even smirked. The species present were so advanced, they didn't understand how a simple human could claim that Earth had anything to offer. After all, humanity was still recovering from its own wars and environmental damage. "Earth may not have the answers to all your problems," Alex continued, "but we have the ability to find them. We are adaptable, resourceful, and we will not be pushed aside. We ask not for your pity, but for the opportunity to contribute." The silence in the room was thick with disbelief. Then, after a moment, the laughter began. One alien species, the Srith, a race known for their arrogance, let out a loud, mocking laugh. "How quaint," one of their representatives sneered. "This human believes they have something to offer. How charming." Another alien, a member of the Ultians, stood up and said, "You're a child compared to us. What makes you think you can negotiate with the might of the Galactic Council?" The room erupted into laughter. Alex felt the heat rising in his chest, but he held his ground. He wasn't about to let their mockery stop him. "This isn't a joke," he said, his voice unwavering. "We have seen things you cannot even begin to imagine. We have fought wars, survived plagues, and we have built a civilization from the ground up. We may be small, but we have the heart of a lion." The laughter didn't stop, but Alex didn't back down. He knew this wasn't the end, but rather the beginning. Earth might be laughed at now, but the day would come when the Council would regret underestimating humanity. As the meeting continued, Earth's fate seemed sealed. The Council's decision was clear. Humanity was insignificant. But Alex wasn't giving up. He would make sure Earth's voice was heard, no matter what it took. Back on Earth, the diplomatic mission had failed. The Galactic Council had laughed at them, dismissed their representative, and made it clear that humanity was nothing more than a curiosity. The sting of rejection was sharp, but Alex Carter knew this wasn't the end. In the face of such mockery, Earth needed a plan, a powerful one that would show the galaxy it were not to be underestimated. Months passed, and while the world's leaders debated how to approach the situation, something unexpected happened. In an isolated region of the Arctic, scientists exploring an ancient, long-abandoned military base stumbled upon a strange discovery, something that would change everything. Deep within the ice, hidden for centuries, lay a vast underground facility, untouched and forgotten by time. The scientists were baffled. They had no idea how or why such a facility existed beneath the ice, but when they began to explore the base, they found something far more remarkable. It wasn't just old machinery or cold storage. The base held advanced technology, far more advanced than anything Earth had ever seen. There were weapons systems, energy sources, and spacecraft unlike any the world's best engineers had ever designed. The world was in shock. News of the discovery spread like wildfire, reaching every corner of Earth. Governments scrambled to secure the site, But it was the military that took charge. They quickly realized that the technology hidden beneath the ice was more than just a relic. It was a weapon that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. Alex was brought in to oversee the communications between the scientists and the government. He knew that this discovery had the potential to alter Earth's standing in the galaxy. If the Galactic Council had underestimated humanity before, they would have no choice but to notice now. But there was something even more unsettling about the facility. Hidden deep within the walls was evidence that this technology had been left behind by an ancient civilization, one that had vanished long ago. The advanced technology was built by beings who had mastered energy, weaponry, and space travel to such an extent that they had disappeared without a trace. The humans who found the base were left with more questions than answers. Who had built it? Why had they disappeared? As the scientists worked to unlock the secrets of the base, Alex grew more concerned. He knew that something bigger was at play here. Earth wasn't just discovering advanced technology. They were tapping into a power that had been hidden for a reason. There was a growing sense of dread. Something had happened to the civilization that built this facility, and it wasn't a mistake that their technology had been left behind. But with every revelation, Earth's leaders realized that they had no choice but to press forward. The discovery was too important, and the potential it held could change everything. While the Galactic Council had laughed, Earth now had a hidden card, a card that would force them to take humanity seriously. But in the back of Alex's mind, a troubling question remained. What would happen when the galaxy discovered that Earth had access to such power? Would it make them a target? Or worse, would the galaxy be united against them before they even had a chance to prove their worth? The answers lay ahead, but for now, Earth had a chance to turn the tables. And Alex knew one thing for sure. The game had just begun. The discovery in the Arctic had shaken the world to its core. The ancient base held more than just advanced technology. It was a testament to a civilization that had mastered things humanity could barely dream of. But with this discovery came a new responsibility. Earth was no longer just a small player in the galaxy. The power they had uncovered could change everything. Alex Carter stood in the command center, staring at the holographic map of the facility. The scientists had spent weeks poring over the data, slowly deciphering the ancient symbols that covered the walls and machinery. But the true potential of the technology was still a mystery. The weapon systems alone were beyond anything Earth had ever seen. There were energy shields, laser cannons, and even advanced spacecraft that could travel faster than light. The world's governments quickly formed a top-secret task force to study and reverse engineer the technology. The military was put on high alert, preparing for the possibility of conflict, while the diplomats began drafting new strategies for future negotiations. The Galactic Council had dismissed humanity once, but now they had something to prove. Alex was called into a meeting with the world's top leaders. They needed to decide how to move forward. The Council might laugh at humanity now, but Alex knew that the technology from the Arctic base was Earth's ticket to being taken seriously. The real question was how to use it. "Alex, we need to know everything we can about these weapons," General Rix said, his voice stern. "The Council won't be content until we've shown them that we're capable of defending ourselves. We don't just want to survive. We need to dominate." Alex nodded, understanding the weight of the decision. For years, humanity had been at the mercy of other species, but now they had the means to level the playing field. But with this power came a new set of dangers. Who would they trust? And what if the technology fell into the wrong hands? Meanwhile, the task force continued to make startling breakthroughs. The spacecraft they had uncovered could travel through hyperspace, opening up vast new territories for exploration and trade. And the energy weapons were powerful enough to destroy entire fleets. But there was something even more unsettling. There were signs that this technology was linked to the same civilization that had disappeared eons ago. The mystery deepened with each passing day. As the days turned into weeks, Alex grew more and more concerned. While the world focused on reverse engineering the weapons, He couldn't shake the feeling that the technology had been left behind for a reason. Why had the civilization that created it vanished without a trace? And more importantly, what if the Council's mocking laughter had been a warning? Earth was now in possession of something far beyond what anyone had imagined. The power was real, but so were the risks. Alex knew that they had to tread carefully. The galaxy had already seen how the Council viewed humanity as weak, but now Earth had the upper hand. It was time to show them that Earth was no longer a small, insignificant planet. It was time to take their place among the stars. But as the pieces fell into place, Alex couldn't help but wonder, was humanity ready for the responsibility that came with such power? And, if the Galactic Council didn't take them seriously now, would they even be given the chance to prove it? The answers lay ahead, but Earth was about to face a test unlike any they had ever imagined. Months had passed since the discovery in the Arctic, and Earth was now in possession of technology that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. But with each new advancement came increasing tension. While Earth's scientists and military worked tirelessly to understand and harness the ancient power, the Galactic Council watched from afar, growing uneasy. The once dismissed planet was no longer the weakling they had laughed at, and it was becoming clear that humanity was preparing for something big. Alex Carter, now a key figure in Earth's diplomatic efforts, felt the weight of the growing pressure. The task force had made incredible strides in unlocking the secrets of the ancient base, and the weapons and spacecraft they had discovered were more powerful than anyone had anticipated. But as Earth's power grew, so did the suspicion of the Galactic Council. The Council had already sent emissaries to Earth, attempting to negotiate and placate humanity with empty promises. They spoke of alliances, trade, and protection, but Alex knew it was just a way to keep humanity in check. The Council wanted Earth to remain in the background, a minor player in the galaxy's grand design. But Alex refused to let that happen. One day, as he stood in the briefing room, Alex received a communication from the Council. It was a formal message, but the tone was clear. Earth's rapid advancements were seen as a threat. They warned humanity to stop its research into the ancient technology and to return all recovered artifacts to their rightful owners, the Galactic Council. The message was short, but it carried a heavy threat. If Earth did not comply, there would be consequences. Alex read the message and felt a knot form in his stomach. He knew the Council had been wary of humanity's newfound power, but this was different. The message wasn't just a warning. It was a declaration. The Council would not tolerate any challenge to its authority. Back at Earth's command center, the world's leaders met to discuss the next steps. General Rix was the first to speak. "We've made it clear that we're not backing down. The Council wants us to stop, but they're just trying to maintain control. We can't let them dictate our future." Alex looked around the room, meeting the eyes of his fellow diplomats and military leaders. He understood the gravity of the situation. The Council had never seen Earth as a real threat, but now that they had the means to fight back, they had become a target. The question was no longer whether the Council would accept humanity as an equal, it was whether Earth could survive the inevitable conflict. "We don't need to back down," Alex said, his voice steady. "But we also need to be smart. If we push too hard, too fast, we risk making enemies across the galaxy. We need to find a way to show the Council that we're not just capable of defending ourselves. We're capable of working with them, if they're willing to see us as equals." But deep down, Alex knew that the Council wouldn't simply let Earth join the ranks of the galaxy's powerful. They had already shown their hand. The only way forward now was to prove that humanity wasn't afraid to fight back, that Earth wasn't a planet to be ignored. The stakes were higher than ever, and with every passing day, the tension between Earth and the Galactic Council grew stronger. It was only a matter of time before the situation reached a breaking point. The tension between Earth and the Galactic Council had reached a boiling point. The Council's emissaries had arrived, but instead of offering peace, they brought threats. The message was clear. Earth had become a problem, a threat to the established order of the galaxy. The discovery of ancient technology, once seen as a mere curiosity, had made humanity a target. The Council wanted to keep Earth in its place, but Alex Carter knew that humanity could no longer afford to be a passive observer in galactic affairs. Alex stood at the center of Earth's military and diplomatic operations, facing a growing sense of urgency. The world's leaders had met several times to discuss the future. Everyone knew that Earth's position in the galaxy had changed forever. But what was the next move? As the days passed, Earth's military forces, now equipped with alien technology, began testing their new spacecraft and weaponry. The results were beyond anyone's expectations. Earth's ships could now move through hyperspace, and their weapons could take out entire enemy fleets in a matter of seconds. They were ready for a confrontation, but Alex knew that war wasn't the solution. Not yet. In a bold move, Alex gathered the leaders of Earth's major powers and made a decision that would change the course of history. They would no longer beg for a seat at the table. They would demand it. With the Council's latest warning still fresh in their minds, Earth's diplomats, led by Alex, sent a formal message to the Galactic Council. But this time, it wasn't a plea. It wasn't a request for mercy. It was a declaration. We, the people of Earth, demand a seat at the Galactic Council. The message read, "We will no longer be treated as insignificant. Our people have fought, struggled, and survived for centuries, and now we have the means to stand as equals. We ask for no favors, no special treatment, only the respect and opportunity we have earned." The message was sent, and as the transmission reached the Council's chambers, an eerie silence fell over the galaxy. No one had ever dared to speak to the Council like this. For the first time in centuries, a species had stood up and challenged the established order. Back on Earth, the response was immediate. News spread across the globe like wildfire. The public's reaction was mixed. Some were excited by the boldness of the move. Others feared the potential backlash. The military prepared for the worst, while diplomats waited nervously for the Council's response. Alex knew that this could go either way. The Galactic Council had always been an oppressive force, and they wouldn't take kindly to being challenged. But Earth had something the Council didn't expect: a united front, a strength born from years of struggle and survival. Humanity wasn't afraid anymore. Days passed without word from the Council, and the tension only grew. But then, unexpectedly, a message came through. It was from the highest-ranking official in the Galactic Council, an ancient alien race known as the Keltar. Her response was blunt but unmistakable. "Humanity's challenge has been heard," the message said. "Prepare for the consequences." The Council wasn't going to back down, but Earth had made one thing clear. They were no longer the weak, insignificant species that could be laughed at. Humanity had drawn a line in the sand, and they were ready to defend it. The next steps were uncertain, but one thing was for sure. Earth's bold move had sent shockwaves through the galaxy, and the Council was beginning to realize that humanity would not be so easily controlled. The days following Earth's bold declaration were tense. The Galactic Council had responded with threats, but nothing had come yet. Earth's leaders, including Alex Carter, were bracing for the inevitable. The message from the Council had left a dark cloud hanging over humanity. It was clear that the galaxy's most powerful beings would not accept the challenge quietly. But then something unexpected happened. A ship, unlike anything humanity had ever seen, appeared in Earth's orbit. It was sleek, dark, and gleaming with strange symbols that none of Earth's experts could identify. The vessel sent a transmission, and the message was even more surprising than the ship itself. "We are the Terek, an ancient race that has observed your world for centuries. We have seen your struggle, your growth, and your potential. Earth does not deserve to be mocked or threatened. We offer you our aid." Alex was called into an emergency meeting as soon as the message was received. The news was both shocking and confusing. Who were the Terek? And why had they chosen this moment to reveal themselves to humanity? The Terek ambassador, a tall being with skin that shimmered like starlight, was soon in contact with Earth's leaders. Her name was Elira, and she spoke in calm, measured tones. The Galactic Council does not know what it faces. They see you as weak, but I see the potential for greatness. You have discovered something the galaxy fears, something the Council is afraid you will use against them. The room fell silent. Alex exchanged uneasy glances with the other leaders. Elira's words were unsettling, but they were also filled with truth. Earth had stumbled upon an ancient power, and now the Council was scared. But why would an unknown alien race offer their help? We have known of your ancient technology, Elira continued. The power you've discovered was once ours. It was left behind, hidden, for a reason. The Council has long searched for it, but they could never find it. It was meant to be forgotten, to stay dormant. Alex listened closely, his mind racing. If it was meant to stay hidden, why are you telling us about it now? Elira's expression was serious. Because the time has come. The technology you found is not just a weapon. It is a key to something far greater, a power that could reshape the entire galaxy. The Council cannot allow you to unlock it. They will do whatever it takes to keep it from falling into your hands. But we... She paused for a moment, as if weighing her words carefully. We are offering you a chance to join us. Together, we can stand against the Council and its oppressive rule. But you must be prepared. They will not give up easily. If you refuse our help, you will face them alone, and the consequences could be disastrous. The offer was tempting. Earth had never had a chance like this before. An ancient alien race offering their knowledge and resources, willing to stand by humanity's side in the coming war with the Galactic Council. But there was a risk. Elira's warning was clear. The Terek were not offering this help out of the kindness of their hearts. There was something more at play here. Alex knew that the decision was not easy. Earth's leaders had no idea what the full scope of the Terek's true intentions might be. Could they trust them? And if they did, what would humanity's role be in this new alliance? As the meeting came to an end, Alex looked out over the room, the weight of the decision heavy on his shoulders. The stakes were higher than ever, and the future of Earth, and possibly the entire galaxy, rested on what they chose to do next. The question was clear. Would humanity accept the help of an unexpected ally, or would they face the coming storm alone? The decision was made. After careful deliberation, Earth's leaders, led by Alex Carter, decided to accept the Tarek's offer of alliance. Humanity had no choice. The Galactic Council had already made their intentions clear, and the Tarek seemed to be the only force willing to help. It was a risky move, but Alex knew they had no other option. The coming conflict would not be easy, and Earth needed all the help it could get. As preparations for the war began, Earth's military forces were equipped with the advanced weapons and technology the Terek had provided. Their spacecraft, once limited to basic interplanetary travel, were now able to travel at hyperspeed, matching the capabilities of the galaxy's most advanced fleets. The energy weapons were more powerful than anything humanity had ever seen, and the shield generators could protect entire cities from the most devastating attacks. Alex watched as humanity's forces were trained in the new technologies. Soldiers were briefed on the alien tactics they would need to use in battle, and fleets were organized for the coming confrontation. The Terek stood by their side, offering guidance and support, but it was clear that this would be humanity's fight. The Terek had given them the tools, but Earth had to prove it could use them. The first major battle came sooner than anyone expected. The Galactic Council, angered by Earth's defiance, sent a massive fleet to Earth's orbit. Their ships were equipped with advanced weaponry, but they were not prepared for the new power that humanity had at its disposal. The battle raged for hours, with Earth's forces holding their ground. The Council's fleet was large, but humanity's ships, armed with the Tarek's weapons, fought fiercely. The energy weapons tore through the enemy ships, while Earth's new spacecraft outmaneuvered the enemy's older models. The Council had underestimated humanity's resolve, and now they were paying the price. Alex watched the battle unfold from Earth's command center, his heart racing. The situation was tense, and every moment was critical. But Earth's forces were holding their own. It was a hard-fought battle, but humanity was not backing down. The Galactic Council had underestimated the power of Earth, and now they were learning the hard way. As the battle came to a close, the Galactic Council's fleet was forced to retreat. It was a stunning victory for humanity, and it sent a powerful message to the galaxy. Earth was no longer the weak, insignificant planet that could be dismissed. They had proven their strength, and the Council now knew that humanity was not to be taken lightly. But the war was far from over. The victory was only the beginning. The Galactic Council would not give up easily, and they would come back stronger. The Terek had warned Earth that the Council would stop at nothing to maintain control of the galaxy, and now humanity was in the fight of its life. Alex knew that this was just the first step in a much larger conflict. But for the first time, humanity had shown that they could stand up to the most powerful forces in the galaxy. The war had begun, and Earth was ready to face whatever came next. The victory over the Galactic Council's fleet was only the beginning, but it had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Earth had proven that it was not a planet to be taken lightly. The battle had been fierce, and though humanity had won, the cost was high. The Council's fleet had retreated, but the leaders of the Galactic Council were not ones to back down easily. They would be preparing for the next move. Alex Carter sat in the command center, watching the screen as military reports came in. Earth's forces had held their ground, but the Council was already regrouping, calling for reinforcements. The war was far from over. The next battle could come at any moment, and Alex could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him. The Terek's support has been invaluable, General Rix said, looking over the latest reports. But we can't rely on them forever. We need to find a way to stand on our own. Alex nodded, but deep down, he knew that Earth couldn't afford to face the full might of the Council alone. The Terek had given them advanced technology, but there were limits to how much Earth could take. The Council had more resources, more powerful fleets, and they had been preparing for this war far longer than humanity. Earth's forces were skilled, but they had only just started to tap into the full potential of their newfound power. "We need to push forward," Alex said, his voice firm. "But we need to be smart. We've proven ourselves once, but we can't afford to become overconfident." As the days passed, Earth's military continued to prepare, while diplomatic efforts were also underway. Alex and his team worked tirelessly to negotiate with the Terek and other potential allies. The galaxy was vast, and the war would be fought on many fronts. Earth couldn't stand alone, and Alex knew that the key to winning the war would lie in building alliances. Then, one morning, a message came in from an unexpected source. The Galactic Council had requested a ceasefire. Alex stared at the message in disbelief. The Council, the very force that had mocked Earth, now sought peace. The message was clear. The Council was willing to negotiate, but only under one condition. Earth had to give up its newly discovered technology and return to its previous status as a minor power in the galaxy. It was a proposal that Alex could hardly believe. The Council was not offering peace out of goodwill. They were offering it because they knew they could not win the war. Earth had become a threat they could no longer ignore. But the price of peace was steep. Giving up the ancient technology would mean returning to a state of helplessness. Earth would lose the power that had tipped the balance of the war in their favor. Alex met with the world's leaders, discussing the Council's offer. The decision was agonizing. Was peace worth sacrificing everything they had fought for? Could humanity trust the Council after all the threats and mockery? Or would they risk it all and continue the fight, knowing that the outcome could change the fate of the entire galaxy? The decision was made. Humanity would not give up the power they had fought so hard to secure. Earth's leaders would continue to stand firm. The war was far from over, but now humanity had the upper hand. The turning point had arrived, and Alex knew that no matter what came next, Earth would not back down. The galaxy had learned a powerful lesson: never underestimate humanity. The war had raged for months, and while Earth had gained significant victories, the conflict was far from over. The Galactic Council, though shaken, was not defeated. Humanity had proven itself capable of standing up to their power, and now the Council sought a way to end the conflict on their terms. A ceasefire was proposed, but the conditions were harsh. Earth would have to give up the advanced technology it had discovered and return to its former position in the galaxy. The Council expected Earth to bow to their demands. But Alex Carter and the world's leaders knew better. They had already seen the Council's true nature. This ceasefire was not about peace, it was about survival. The Council had been pushed to the edge, and now they wanted Earth to submit. Humanity had already made one mistake, underestimating its own strength. Alex knew they couldn't make that mistake again. Giving up the technology would not only be a loss in this war, but would also ensure that humanity would never be able to stand on equal ground with the galaxy's powerful factions. It was a decision that could destroy everything they had fought for. The ceasefire negotiations were scheduled. The Council's representatives arrived, and the tension in the room was thick. Alex stood at the table, surrounded by Earth's most senior diplomats and military leaders. Across from them were the faces of the Galactic Council, cold and calculating, as always. "We have offered you peace," the Council representative, a tall and imposing alien, said in a deep, chilling voice. "All we ask is that you return the technology you have stolen and accept your place in the galaxy. If you do so, Earth will not face further consequences." Alex kept his expression neutral. He had heard these words before. The Council had always believed they could control everything. They never expected humanity to rise against them. But now, Alex's words were firm as he replied, "We didn't steal anything. We found this technology, and we've learned from it. Humanity will not be pushed back into submission. You either accept us as equals, or the war continues." The room was silent. The tension between Earth and the Galactic Council was palpable. Everyone knew that if the negotiations failed, the fighting would resume, and this time, it would be even worse. But there was a deeper layer to the situation that Alex wasn't aware of. As the talks dragged on, Alex noticed something strange. One of the human diplomats, an old ally, seemed nervous. His hand shook slightly, and his eyes kept darting toward the Council representatives. Alex had trusted this man for years, but something felt off. He couldn't put his finger on it, but he sensed that something was wrong. Then, at the height of the negotiations, it happened. The diplomat, who had been quietly signaling the Council representatives, stood up abruptly. "I cannot stand by this decision," he declared. "I've been offered a place among the Council, and I believe Earth should return the technology. The war is senseless. We cannot win." The room erupted into chaos. The traitor had been bought off, and his betrayal sent shockwaves through Earth's leadership. The Council had bribed him, hoping to sow division among humanity's ranks. This betrayal was not only a blow to Earth's negotiations, it was a test of humanity's resolve. Alex stood frozen, staring at the traitor. The decision had just become even more complicated. With one man's betrayal, Earth's path forward was now clouded. Would they continue to fight, or would the internal divide be their undoing? The war had taken a new turn. The true battle was not just against the Council. It was within. The betrayal had sent shockwaves through Earth's leadership. The diplomat who had sold out humanity was now openly siding with the Galactic Council, hoping to bring Earth to its knees. His actions had nearly derailed the ceasefire negotiations, but Alex Carter knew that humanity's path was not so easily swayed. This was a critical moment, a moment that would decide Earth's future. In the aftermath of the betrayal, Alex and the other leaders had no choice but to take action. The traitor had been placed under arrest, but the damage was done. Trust had been shattered, and the internal division among Earth's leaders was evident. The Council had used this to their advantage, exploiting the cracks in humanity's unity. But Alex understood one important truth. This war wasn't just about weapons or technology. It was about the will to fight. Despite the setback, Earth's military forces remained ready. They had tasted victory before, and they knew the power they held. The battle for Earth's future was not over yet. The Galactic Council, despite their arrogance, had underestimated the strength of humanity's resolve. Alex, General Rick said, pulling him aside after the crisis meeting, "We can't afford to hesitate. The Council will see this as weakness. We have to act fast, or they'll pounce." Alex nodded, his mind racing. The betrayal had been a blow, but humanity was not a race that could be easily broken. The Terek, still loyal to Earth, had offered their support, but Earth had to stand on its own. This wasn't just about surviving anymore. It was about proving humanity's place in the galaxy. The time for waiting was over. The next day, Alex stood before the world's leaders once more, ready to make the final decision. The Galactic Council had issued a final ultimatum. Earth could either surrender the technology and submit to the Council's control or face complete destruction. The decision was clear, but the price of surrender was too great. "We won't bow to their demands," Alex said, his voice steady, but filled with resolve. "The technology we found is not a tool for destruction. It is a symbol of our potential. We will not give it up. The time for peace is over. We will fight for our freedom." With that declaration, Earth's resolve was clear. The final stage of the war had begun. The fleets were mobilized, the weapons charged, and humanity was ready to face whatever the Galactic Council could throw at them. As the first wave of battles began, Earth's forces surged forward with newfound strength. The Galactic Council, once certain of their superiority, now found themselves facing a united and determined enemy. The battles were fierce, but Earth fought with everything they had, using the advanced technology they had discovered to their advantage. Humanity's will to survive, to prove its worth, was unmatched. The war raged on for months, but the turning point had arrived. The Galactic Council, weakened and stretched thin by the constant conflict, began to retreat. Their power was no longer absolute. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. In the final battle, as the Galactic Council's forces were pushed back and the Council's headquarters fell, Alex stood victorious. Earth had won, not just a battle, but the right to be heard, to stand as an equal among the stars. The galaxy would never be the same. Alex knew that this was just the beginning of humanity's journey. Earth had proven its strength, but there was much more to learn, to explore, and to discover. The new era had begun, one where humanity would no longer be a bystander. They had carved their place in the galaxy, and no one would ever laugh at them again. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Earth had found its place among the stars, and no force in the galaxy could deny it.